Anne Heche, a fearless actress, broke boundaries on screen and stage with raw, unapologetic talent. Sinead O'Connor, the Irish icon, shouted truth into the world with a voice that shook. Coolio, rap legend, turned West Coast beats into anthems that still echo today. Gilbert Gottfried, master of absurd comedy, delighted audiences with his unmistakable, razor-sharp delivery. Loretta Lynn, queen of country, sang life's hardships with fierce, unflinching honesty. Angus Cloud, breakout star, embodied raw vulnerability that resonated deeply with a generation. The night of November 4th, 2008, a sea of orange and blue swelled across Grant Park in Chicago, the wind carrying the echo of a single, trembling voice. If there is anyone out there who still doubts that America is a shining city upon a hill, Barack Obama looked up, his eyes reflecting 1,000 hopes, and delivered a speech that would become a turning point in the nation's story. In that instant, the world saw not just a candidate, but a man poised to rewrite the narrative of American leadership. Born in Honolulu in 1961 to a Kenyan father and a Kansas mother, Obama's early life was a study in contrasts. The Pacific's turquoise waters and the quiet suburbs of Jakarta, where his family moved when he was 6, offered him a multicultural lens that would later shape his political rhetoric. He learned to navigate the delicate balance between belonging and otherness, a theme that would surface repeatedly in his public life. A modest upbringing in the Pacific Northwest, punctuated by a single mother's relentless work ethic, taught him the value of perseverance and the power of stories. College years at Columbia and later Harvard Law School were not merely academic milestones. They were crucibles where his political philosophy was forged. In New York, he worked as a community organizer on the south side of Chicago, confronting the stark realities of housing discrimination, unemployment, and the crack epidemic. Rather than merely delivering policy solutions, he listened, building a grassroots network that would later become the backbone of his political ascent. The experience taught him that change required both top-down vision and bottom-up momentum. When Obama entered the Illinois State Senate in 1997, he did so with a pragmatic approach that defied the usual partisan script. He championed legislation on healthcare access for children, a cause that resonated with his own childhood experiences of medical uncertainty. Yet his rise was not without friction. Within the Democratic establishment, some viewed his eloquence as a threat. Within the Republican ranks, he was painted as an outsider. The 2004 Democratic National Convention keynote address catapulted him onto the national stage, but it also drew scrutiny questions about his religious background, his foreign birth, and his political authenticity swirled in the media. The 2008 campaign was a masterclass in narrative engineering. Obama's team crafted a story of hope that resonated beyond policy, intertwining personal anecdotes with a vision of a post-9/11 America. He leveraged emerging social media platforms, turning the internet into a campaign headquarters and mobilizing a generation that had never before been so digitally connected. The opposition, however, marshaled a relentless counter-narrative, focusing on his modest upbringing and alleged ties to radical groups. Obama's response was measured. He repeatedly emphasized unity, the rule of law, and the importance of bridging divides. Upon assuming the presidency, the weight of history pressed heavily. The 2008 financial crisis demanded swift action. Obama signed the Emergency Economic Stabilization Act, injecting capital into faltering banks and launching the stimulus package that aimed to revive a lagging economy. The decision was controversial, drawing criticism from both fiscal conservatives who feared government overreach and progressives who deemed it insufficient. Yet the measures, combined with the auto industry bailouts, laid a foundation for a slow but steady recovery, illustrating his willingness to navigate the narrow corridor between market forces and social responsibility. In foreign policy, Obama inherited 2 wars and a fragile global reputation. He ordered the surge in Afghanistan, increased troop levels, and later, in 2011, authorized the mission that led to Osama bin Laden's death. These actions were framed as decisive, yet they sparked debate about the United States' long-term strategic vision. The Iran nuclear deal, a hallmark of diplomatic outreach, sought to curb nuclear proliferation through multilateral negotiation rather than military intervention. Critics warned of a compromised security posture, while supporters hailed it as a bold step toward a more cooperative world order. Domestically, his signature healthcare legislation, the Affordable Care Act, transformed the American healthcare landscape. The law extended coverage to millions, mandated preventive care, and prohibited insurers from denying coverage based on pre-existing conditions. The journey from proposal to law was fraught with partisan battles, legal challenges, and public protests. Obama's rhetorical skill, exemplified by his "if you like your doctor, keep your doctor" line, helped to humanize a complex policy, though the law remains a polarizing issue. Beyond policy, Obama cultivated a cultural presence that reshaped the presidency's public image. He appeared on late-night talk shows, engaged with pop culture icons, and used social media to connect directly with citizens. His weekly Ask Me Anything sessions on Reddit and candid conversations with millennials demonstrated a new kind of political accessibility. Yet this openness also opened him to criticism that the office was becoming a brand rather than a solemn institution. The latter years of his administration were marked by a series of reversals and adaptations. The rise of the Black Lives Matter movement forced a reckoning with systemic racism, prompting Obama to address police violence and racial inequities in a series of speeches that balanced empathy with a call for policy reform. The Supreme Court's decision on same-sex marriage in 2015 aligned with his long-standing advocacy for LGBTQ+ rights, cementing his legacy as a champion of civil liberties. As his second term concluded, Obama faced a nation split along ideological lines, a global stage fraught with emergent powers, and an enduring debate over his own legacy. He left office with a mixed record: economic recovery, healthcare expansion, and diplomatic milestones juxtaposed against ongoing partisan polarization and unresolved foreign conflicts. Yet his post-presidential life has continued to influence public discourse. He has authored memoirs, launched the Obama Foundation, and mentored emerging leaders, reinforcing his belief that leadership is a relay race rather than a solitary sprint. Today, Barack Obama stands not as a relic of the past, but as an active participant in America's ongoing dialogue. He appears at climate summits advocates for voting rights, and supports initiatives that aim to bridge the digital divide. His voice, still resonant, serves as a reminder that the arc of progress bends toward inclusion, but only when individuals remain vigilant. The story of Barack Obama, therefore, is not a closed chapter, but an evolving narrative, one that began in a Honolulu hospital, matured in Chicago's community halls, and now unfolds on the global stage. It is a testament to the power of hope tempered by pragmatic action, and to the enduring belief that a single voice, when amplified by collective effort, can indeed reshape a nation's destiny.